Good morning, Lori. So, today's finally the big day, huh? I bet you're so excited. How about this weather, though? There's a pleasant breeze blowing, not a cloud in the sky. This is the perfect weather for a wedding. Right? It's absolutely gorgeous outside today. The forecast earlier this week said it was going to rain, so I got concerned, but it looks like we're in the clear. Thank goodness. Are you on your way to the cathedral now? Actually, I'm already here. I arrived a little bit ago, and I just got into the changing room. Cool. And what about George? Oh, last night his friends threw him some big blowout bachelor party. He's been looking forward to it for a long time. Apparently some of his old friends from high school are flying halfway across the country to come. They booked a hotel in the city for the night, and George said he would head straight from the hotel to the cathedral. So, yeah, now I'm just waiting for him to arrive. Ooh, a bachelor party. Did you ever see that one movie? You know, where they wake up the day after the bachelor party and can't remember anything. Then they have to haul it over to the wedding venue before the ceremony starts. Yeah, but don't worry, I texted him earlier and he said he was awake, so looks like we're in the clear. Oh, so he texted you, huh? I'm surprised he had time for that. Yeah, I guess he must have taken a minute to give me a courtesy text while he was getting ready to go. Uh-huh, right. So, you didn't ask him anything? No, I didn't. I assumed he was busy enough getting ready, so I figured everything I wanted to ask him about could wait until he got to the chapel. Like, what should I have asked him? Oh, you know, the basic stuff. Like, where he is right now. Whether he's really going to come to the chapel or not. I told you, Tommy, you don't need to worry. He didn't wake up in an abandoned warehouse missing a kidney or anything. Everything's going to be just fine. Yeah, you're right about that, for sure. Everything is going to be just fine. For me, anyway. Tommy, you're acting kind of weird. Sorry, I just wanted to say thank you, Lori. I mean, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to get married. Plus, I finally get to quit that godforsaken company I was working for. It felt so satisfying when I slammed my resignation on my creepy old boss's desk. Like, bam, eat that, Baldy. Tommy, what are you talking about? You really don't get it, do you? I know you've been really looking forward to your wedding, but unfortunately, it's not gonna happen. Your precious little groom isn't gonna be late. He's not coming at all. Tommy, you're scaring me. What's going on with you? Would you like to know where your fiancé is, Lori? Because I know. He's with me. And he's telling me that he doesn't feel much like going to your wedding today. And no, he doesn't want to reschedule. He doesn't want to marry you anymore. What? Do you remember the marriage certificate application that you signed and gave to George? Yeah, I had him taking care of that since he has a less rigid schedule than me. The office where you turn those in is only open for part of the day that I have to be at work. If there was a way for me to get away from the office for an hour or so, I would have done it, but I've been too busy. I don't think they're going to accept it anymore. Why not? Because I watched him rip it into shreds right in front of me. We got super drunk last night. He started shouting, "I'm tired of being tied down to that boring woman." And then he pulled that application out of his bag, ripped it up, and shouted, he felt tied down to me? I don't understand. How can you not understand? He wanted to get rid of you, so he did. It's not all your fault. It was just bad timing. George and me are soulmates. We were always meant to be together. Unfortunately, he ended up meeting you first. Sure, he might have been engaged to you, but deep down, I was always the one he really wanted to be with. Tommy, I know you always were one for practical jokes, but this is going way too far. This is my wedding day, and you're telling me this insane story about stealing my fiancé from me? That's ridiculous. The first time the two of you ever met was when I brought him to the house to meet our parents after we got engaged. Oh, trust me, I remember that. I'll never forget the way our eyes met for the first time. We both knew at that very moment that we were meant for each other. So we traded phone numbers and started talking to each other. While you were super busy putting your wedding together, me and George were just getting busy. Knock it off, Tommy, you're hurting me. You still don't believe me? Here's a picture we took together while you were out of town for the weekend for work. No, this can't be. George really was cheating on me? With you? I'm sorry about all this, Lori, I really am. Well, maybe not that sorry, but you and George were all wrong for each other. If you had actually gotten married, it would have ended in tragedy either way. I'm just rescuing him from a fate worse than death. You... Oh, and don't bother trying to stop us, we're already married. As of this morning, I am legally George's wife. You got married to my fiancé on our wedding day? It was our wedding day, not your wedding day. Anyway, I think we're gonna disappear for a while. With George's job, all he needs is a computer, and he can do it from anywhere he wants. Plus, he runs the company, so he gets to make the rules. So we're moving to a place far away where you can't interfere with our love. Hold it right there, Tommy. This is too crazy to be true. You're really having an affair with my fiancé? He's really not coming today? We're really not gonna get married anymore? Looks like you finally caught up with the class, Lori. Yes, yes, and yes, you get 100. I don't believe this. You've picked the most evil way possible to break this news to me. And you're moving? You can't do that. You owe me a proper explanation. And not just me, you owe both our parents and George's parents an explanation. What's there to explain? Do you want to know what we were doing last night or something? Because that's definitely not a PG-rated conversation. You sure you want all the steamy detail? You know that's not what I'm talking about. We need to talk about the wedding, our future, the engagement ring. There are 1,000,001 important things for us to discuss. This is not like two college students dating for a few months and then breaking up. We had plans. We built our lives around each other. Ugh, that sounds like a total pain. Like, me and George are about to embark on the biggest adventure of our lives. Can't you guys just say congratulations and let us be on our way? No, I will not congratulate the two of you for betraying me. You can't just drop this nuclear bomb on me the day of the wedding. You are such a buzzkill, Lori, you know that? George sure had the right idea. He lied to you about the bachelor party. There was never going to be one. Instead, he spent the better part of last night getting ready for the big move. So don't bother rushing over to his house to catch him before he leaves. By the time you get there, it won't be anything but an empty husk. So you're serious then? You're really just gonna run away like this? Without taking a single piece of responsibility for anything you've done? Yep. Thank you so much for everything, Lori. I met the man of my dreams thanks to you. Oh, and George asked me to give you his thanks, too. If you hadn't made him briefly fall in love with you, then he never would have found his true love. You can take care of all the cancellations and stuff for the wedding, right? Because neither of us is going to do it. And with that, farewell, dear sister. Adieu. Don't you dare put down your phone. I need to talk to George directly. I keep calling him, but my calls never go through. Unbelievable. You blocked my number, didn't you?
Girl, how you been? Did you miss me? Do you even remember me? Nah, I bet you'll never forget me for as long as you live, even if you wanted to.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the single biggest mistake I ever made. To what do I owe the pleasure of this sudden text after 3 years of silence? You had my number blocked. I don't want to get my hopes up, but are you by any chance a mugger who just unalived the person you stole this phone from? If so, that would be the best news I've gotten in a long time.
Good grief, you mean to tell me it's been 3 years, but you're still sore about that whole wedding thing? You sure can't hold a grudge. You better do something about that negative attitude or else your man's gonna leave you. Oh wait, I was your man and I did leave you.
Is this the reason you unblocked my number after 3 years, just to taunt me some more? If that's the case, then I've got way better things to do with my time.
Hey, keep your skirt on, yeesh. Actually, I got 2 matters of business for you today, an announcement and a question.
Well, make them quick.
Yes, ma'am. First order of business, drum roll, please. Tommy is pregnant. We're gonna have our first child.
I see.
I see? Is that all you got to say? No congratulations? No, I'm so happy for you?
I shouldn't have to explain to you why I won't be congratulating you for your marriage or your pregnancy anytime soon, so don't hold your breath.
Yeah, you got a point.
And why are you telling me about this when you know I don't care?
So my business was absolutely booming until the first quarter of this year. Ever since then, sales have been dropping precipitously. This month was so bad that it finally forced me to do something I've been working hard to avoid. I'm gonna have to declare bankruptcy and shut down the company. This decision was, in a word, poorly timed. It all happened around the same time we found out Lori was pregnant. Kids cost a bunch of money to take care of, and so now we're looking to cut down on as many unnecessary expenditures as possible.
So again, what does this have to do with me?
I'm getting there. Geez, you're impatient. This brings me to my second order of business. We're gonna move in with your parents to save on rent.
1, that's not a question. 2, are you drunk? Did you just forget about what you did to me 3 years ago?
Well, I was thinking about asking if it'd be okay for us to move in with them, but then I decided I didn't want or need your permission. And anyway, what would be the problem? Tommy's their daughter, too. And I know your parents are going to want to meet their first grandchild, so I thought I'd do them the favor of allowing them to live together with my kid. Aren't I generous?
So you're using your child in an emotional blackmail scheme to get my parents to let you live with them? And not to mention without making you pay any rent?
I told you kids cost money and I ain't got none.
Well, congratulations, George. You are officially the dumbest, most selfish, least sensitive person I have ever met. The two of you completely vanished into thin air 3 years ago after announcing your affair on the day of our wedding. And now that you have a kid and need money, you show up on our doorstep and beg for help?
I'm a resourceful guy. If I've got a resource, I'm gonna make use of it. That includes having relatives with money. So you're still living with your parents, right?
Well, yeah, I am living in the same house as them right now.
Well, not for much longer. We're gonna move in with your folks and have a good old-fashioned multi-generational home. It's gonna be great with all 5 of us under one roof. Me, Tommy, your mom and dad, and...
And me?
No, not you. Our baby. You're gonna have to pack up your stuff and go live somewhere else from now on.
Oh? And what reason would I have to do something like that?
Well, I mean, think about it. It's pretty straightforward, really. Would you really want to live in the same house as the guy who you used to be engaged to? It'd be crazy awkward every single day.
You cheated on me with my sister, broke up with me on the day of our wedding, vanished without a trace for 3 years, and now you're back and demanding that I move out of my own house? I have to hand it to you, George, you are really working hard to earn that biggest douche in the universe award.
Look, the thing is we need money. Plus, we'll need someone else to help us out with a baby when we get bored of dealing with it, and that's when your parents come in.
It's truly fascinating to see you become more and more comically evil with each text. I think the most confusing thing for me right now, though, is why in God's name did I ever agree to marry you in the first place? If you're really that hard up for money, why don't you impose yourself on your parents first?
Nope, that's out of the question.
Because you already forced them to bail you out from paying the cancellation fees for the wedding?
Oh, so you knew about that. Why'd you suggest I see my parents then?
I'm done with this pointless conversation. I'm not moving, for you or anyone else. Our relationship ended 3 years ago, so never contact me again.
You're serious? You're really still mad I cheated on you? Or is this because you're still in love with me after all these years? Sorry, Lori, but I'm a married man now. My wife's pregnant. I can't go fooling around with other women. Not anymore, anyway.
Hey there, Lori. Long time no see. God, I feel like it's almost been 3 years. So I think George already told you this, but our love has finally taken on a human form. We've been blessed with the gift of life. I am pregnant. I knew I should have gotten a new phone number. So yeah, it's just like George told you. We're gonna move in with Mom and Dad, and you're gonna move out. Did you finish packing your stuff yet? I very explicitly told George that I am not moving. Sorry, Lori, but that's not an option. We've already loaded our stuff into the moving truck we rented and are on our way over there right now. So get your stuff together and get out of Mom and Dad's house before we arrive. You want me out of Mom and Dad's house? It's not just us, dummy. Obviously, Mom and Dad would rather live with their first grandchild than you. You're single, childless, and hopeless, and I don't want your negativity impacting my baby's life. I can't get out of Mom and Dad's house. I'm already out. I'm living on the West Coast with my husband. You're such a bad liar. You can quit making up stories because nothing you say is going to get this moving truck to turn around. I'm not lying. I moved to the West Coast with my husband. Wait, you moved? Is there a problem with that? What, did you think I was going to let my sister and fiance's betrayal hold me back forever? But, well, this is the first I'm hearing of this. How do you expect me to tell you anything if you blocked my number? I had no way of contacting you for the last 3 years. Wait, you're living on the West Coast? So you're not on the East Coast anymore? But that doesn't make sense. George told me you were living with your parents. But your parents live on the East Coast. What's going on? I was telling the truth. They are living with us right now. I'm on the West Coast in my new house with my husband and our parents. What? Why? I hate to have to rain on your parade like this, Tommy, but your baby won't be Mom and Dad's first grandchild. I already beat you to the punch. I'm due to give birth this month. You're pregnant? And your baby is due this month? Not baby. Babies. I'm having twins. Twins? I'm still relatively new in the area, so I'm not familiar with any of the hospitals or doctors. So I was actually thinking about moving back over there for a while to give birth and have Mom help me out with the baby. But it turns out Mom and Dad were planning on selling their house anyway. So we talked to them and they decided to move out here to be with us. They sold their house? What is going on over there? Why are you guys making all these big decisions without telling me? You blocked us, remember? So anyway, Mom and Dad moved in with us last month. They're going to live with us for the time being, just until they can find a good plot of land and build a new house of their own. We're having a lot of fun having them here, though. We'll be sad to see them go. Where's their new house? Nowhere yet. They still haven't even bought any land yet. I literally just told you. How'd you miss that? Oh no, so they don't have a house right now? Then where are we supposed to go to? We got everything ready to move in with Mom and Dad. We're having the movers send all our stuff to Mom and Dad's house. You'll have to figure that out for yourselves. You got yourselves into this mess, so get yourselves out. Hand the phone to Mom or Dad right now. I need to talk to them. Sorry, Tommy, no can do. Neither Mom or Dad ever want to talk to you again. Why? Do you really need me to explain it all again? You know perfectly well how much trouble you caused for our family, and you didn't even stick around to take responsibility for it. Let me ask you this way. What made you think Mom and Dad would let you move in with them in the first place? But I'm pregnant. I'm going to give birth to their grandchild. They're going to have 2 grandchildren within the next 2 weeks. My twins, remember? Oh no, this is terrible. We already terminated the lease on our old apartment. What are we going to do with all this stuff? Where are we going to put it? Mom and Dad sold their house, and you're all on the complete opposite side of the country. What do you want me to do about it from over here? You said it yourself. We're not even in the same state. I can't help you. No, it wasn't supposed to happen this way. We had enough problems already with George's company failing. We completely ran out of money. We didn't even have enough to make the last rent payment. All right, give me a second. Okay, there you go. I just messaged someone that I think might be able to help you. What? Who did you message? Your baby's grandparent. You mean Mom and Dad? Why'd you do that? They said they'll be right over. What? They can't be right over. You guys are on the opposite side of the country. Didn't you say they were living with you? Not to worry, Lori. They just so happened to be visiting a relative in town today. It's only about 3 blocks away. They'll be there any second now. Awesome! Well, thank you so much, Lori. You're a lifesaver. You're on your own from here on out, though. Your baby didn't choose you as his or her parents, so make sure you do what's right by them. You're not going to be able to just up and run away from your problems anymore. You're going to have to be a big girl now. I can be a big girl. Oh, and one more thing. I am absolutely exhausted from having to deal with you these past several days, so I'm disowning you. You're dead to me now. Never contact me again. Huh? I'm going to be living over here for the foreseeable future. So I don't think I'd be running into you all that often anyway. Ugh, whatever. As long as Mom and Dad are here, I'll be fine. I don't really need you anymore. And even if I did, I know I can't rely on you anymore. So thanks for everything. Enjoy your life, loser. What's going on, Lori? What are George's parents doing here? Where are Mom and Dad? What are you talking about? You and George are married now, right? That means his mom and dad are your mom and dad. In-law, to be precise. You mean the people you said you thought could help us? You messaged George's parents? They've been looking for the two of you for a long, long time, so I thought I'd let them know exactly where they can find you. It was perfect timing for them, though, being in town right when you guys were planning to force yourselves on Mom and Dad. This can't be happening. How could you do this to me? You have just destroyed our lives. What makes you say that? His parents are super understanding and reasonable people. You can rely on them. We already had to deal with George's vanishing income, and now we have to take responsibility for that stupid thing 3 years ago? They said they had to cover the cost of your wedding, and now they want us to pay it back. Duh, what were you expecting? Since you guys played Houdini on our wedding day, George's parents ended up taking full responsibility for the cost of the wedding. And now that they've found you, they want you to pay them back for the money you cost them. I don't see what you're so upset about. We don't have any money. That's not my problem, and it's not George's parents' problem. But they're telling us we owe them a ridiculous amount of money. You guys went and spent this much on a wedding? Who do you think you are, Kim Kardashian? That's not just for the wedding. Only part of that is the cost of the wedding venue, which we had to pay the full amount for because we canceled on the day of the wedding. There's also the flight tickets and hotel bills for the people who had to come in from out of town to be there. We weren't just going to leave them high and dry after spending hundreds of dollars to come to a wedding that never happened. And all the expenses should be detailed on the invoice you have. I would never have come home if I knew this was going to happen. I thought you said you could be a big girl. It's time to take responsibility, Tommy. Pay George's parents what you owe them and stay the hell out of my life. But what about our mom and dad? Didn't they care about their grandchild? I actually have a message from them about that. They wanted me to tell you that the only way they'll support the baby is if they can guarantee that you won't benefit at all. If you let them legally adopt the baby from you, they'll raise him or her like their own. You can't be serious. They want me to give up my own baby? It would be what's best for the child, after all. We don't view you as a part of this family anymore. If you want help, then you're going to have to go to George's parents. But I am your family! Not anymore, you're not. You burned your chance at ever having a normal relationship with us ever again 3 years ago. And since George's parents agreed to let you live with them, it seems to me like all your problems are solved. What do you need us for anyway? I don't want to live with them. They're super duper strict. I know, right? It's so bizarre how a loser like George could possibly come out of a house run by strict disciplinarians like them. But they said we have to pay them back first. Then I guess you better get yourselves some jobs, huh? Both of us? Are you telling me I have to work too? It's either that or you become homeless. Your choice. I wanted to be a housewife, though. Look, can I go now? I don't have any time to watch you have a mental breakdown. It might be 8 a.m. over there, but it's 4 a.m. over here, and I'd like to go back to bed. I'm gonna need to get all the sleep I can in order to take care of this baby. You can't go to sleep at a time like this. I need you. You have to help me find somewhere to live. Good night, Tommy. Or good morning. I don't know. I'm going back to sleep. I know I probably don't need to worry about you coming around here since we're on the opposite side of the country and you don't know our address, but I'm still going to block your number just in case. Have fun with George's parents. I already blocked George after the previous night's conversation, so I blocked Tommy's number next, then deleted both of their contact info from my phone and went back to sleep. I called George's parents a while later to see how things were going. With nowhere else to go, Tommy and George had no choice but to move in with them. They're both being forced to work 2 part-time jobs to make sure they put in a full 40 hours a week. George's parents have complete control over their finances. Every time a paycheck comes in, they first subtract some for rent, some for living expenses, and some to pay back the money they owe from the wedding. They're kind enough to hand over the rest to them for spending money, if there's anything left. There usually isn't. They still owe a massive amount of money, so it looks like they're going to have to deal with this kind of lifestyle for quite a long time. At this rate, I think they'll have it all paid off by the time they're 60. Hey, Jessica, do you have a minute? I just heard something that was really hard to believe and wanted to confirm it with you. Is it true that you dropped out of high school? Huh? I know, I'm sorry, this is really sudden, but I just heard from Carl and it's kind of making me lose my mind. Okay, so Carl proposed to me and I said yes. And after I said yes, we got to talking about some stuff. And then all of a sudden he tells me there's something serious he needs to tell me. And that was when he told me that you were a high school dropout. Is that true? Yeah, it's just like Carl said. I dropped out partway through high school. But I don't know what he was being so dramatic about. Something like that is nothing worth bringing up right after proposing. I wonder why he thought it was so serious that he had to tell you that. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal? Not a big deal? It's a huge deal, Jessica. Are you out of your mind? No. Oh my God, I cannot believe you were a high school dropout. I didn't think that's the type of person you were. I feel like I'm gonna puke. All this time, I was treating you so nicely. I wanted to get along with you because, I was super serious about Carl and everything, and you're his sister. And now I find out you're a high school dropout? I feel so deceived. I don't really think deceived is a fair word to use in this situation, but... You have to understand, Jessica, I'm an Ivy League graduate, and it's not just me either. Carl's an Ivy League graduate too. We're a high-powered elite couple. We can't be seen associating with the likes of you. I'm not really a fan of the tone you're taking with me right now. Tell me, Kylie, when Carl told you I dropped out of high school, did he tell you why I did? Oh yeah, he told me all about it. You got super sick with some disease in your freshman year. You were in and out of the hospital for the next 2 years and you missed so many of your classes that you weren't able to keep up, so you dropped out. Ah, okay, so he did tell you then. Yeah, that's right, I had to go stay in the hospital pretty regularly, sometimes for a month or 2 at a time. By the time everything settled down, I went back to school and all of my friends had kind of moved on without me. I felt so alone. So I figured, screw it. I dropped out and decided to just get a job and start working. I don't see what that sob story has to do with anything, though. I'm sorry you got sick, but being unlucky isn't an excuse. You're still a high school dropout and nothing can ever change that. Even if you went back and got your GED, you would still be a permanent member of the high school dropout class. Nothing can wash away that stain, Jessica. Really? Again, I really don't appreciate the way you're talking about me. Stain? Oh, good grief. This is one of the most humiliating days of my life. I was starting to really enjoy spending time with you. I was even looking forward to being sisters once Carl and I got married. We could go to the mall together, get our nails done together, maybe even do live streams together on Instagram. But you're a high school dropout. Yuck. Can I ask you something, Kylie? What is so bad about dropping out of high school anyway? Honestly, your educational history only really matters for the first careerish job you get. No one cares after that. As long as you work hard and get results, it doesn't matter where you got your degree from or what degree it even is. It doesn't matter? I don't believe what I'm hearing. It obviously matters a lot. I'm not going to waste my time explaining it to you, though. You're just a high school dropout. You wouldn't understand it. Wow. Suffice to say, educational attainment is everything these days. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know what the word suffice means? Look it up if you don't. Anyway, Carl and I are the only Ivy League graduates in the companies that we work for, and they treat us like absolute royalty. Carl got promoted to the managerial class years ahead of people who had been in the company longer than him. And my company basically organizes their project schedule around me being able to take part in as many of them as possible. Oh boy, how amazing. I am truly impressed. It's okay, Jessica. You don't have to pretend you get it. I mean, how could you get it? You're a high school dropout. I'll bet you didn't even understand half the words I used just now. Man, I feel so sorry for you. With your inferior intellect, you'll never earn anywhere near as much as Carl and I. You're going to be stuck doing menial labor for the rest of your life. That way of thinking only spread through the basis of high school guidance counselors and hasn't ever been true in the real world. There are all sorts of possibilities for people of all educational attainment levels, even high school dropouts. And let's not forget that some of the wealthiest people in the world today either didn't go to college or dropped out. So no, lower educational attainment is neither a barrier in terms of job opportunity or income potential, provided a person has sufficient skills and knowledge. Shut up! I'm not reading all that copy and pasted BS, and I'm not interested in talking to someone who lacks the language ability to converse on my level. All that I wanted to tell you today was that I can no longer associate with you. The end. So never, ever try and contact me ever again. Got it? Kylie, are you serious about this? This is making me really sad. We've gotten along so well up until now. That was because you were lying to me about what you really were. I will not ruin my image by hanging out with someone as uneducated as yourself. From this day forth, I am obligated to hate your guts.
Thanks a lot, Jessica. Do you have any idea how much trouble you're causing me right now? Having a loser high school dropout like you for a sister sucks so much. Kylie and I just got in a huge fight and it's all your fault.
My fault?
I knew I shouldn't have told her that you were a high school dropout. Kylie graduated from an Ivy League university just like me, so we're both at the top of the intellectual ladder. I've been holding back on telling her the truth about you up until now because I was sure that she was gonna get really mad when she found out. But I mean, we're gonna get married, so it's not like I can hide it forever. I tried to do the right thing and be honest with her, so I invited her out to dinner and broke the news, and she started freaking out at me. Everything was going great between us. We were engaged, in love, planning our wedding, but then you had to come along and put a wedge in between us.
I will not sit here and let you act like I'm the one at fault for whatever is going on between you two. If you thought it was so serious, then you should have told her about it before you proposed. That's on you, not me.
Are you kidding? You think I was going to tell her about you before proposing? If she had known what you were before I proposed, she would have said no for sure. My God, don't you understand anything?
I understand more than enough to see that both you and Kylie are completely out of line. What is with you two? Why do you treat high school dropouts like we're a leper colony? Having a slip of paper saying you're super duper smart doesn't mean anything. What matters is whether you can do the job or not. That's all.
Your low IQ is preventing you from understanding how the world works, so let me spell it out for you. You are a high school dropout. High school dropouts are dumb. The world doesn't need dumb people. Therefore, the world has no need for low IQ, lazy, useless high school dropouts like you.
Really, Carl? Really? I can't believe you talked to me like that. I'm your sister. You know how hard it was for me back then? You remember all the doctor visits, hospital stays, therapies, injections, and all the other stuff I went through. You have got no right to speak so cruelly to me, Carl.
I have all the right in the world to say whatever I damn well please to you, Jessica. Here's a new word for you to learn. Meritocracy. That means the people who have merit, like me, make all the rules. And the people who don't have merit, like you, will live how we allow you to. Why did I have to get stuck with a loser like you for a sister? All you are is one big fat burden on all the hard-working, intelligent people around you.
How am I a burden on anyone? I might have dropped out of high school, but I work hard, make money, and pay my taxes.
Here's another little tidbit for you, Jessica. Most people in this country take more money from the government than they pay in taxes. People like you can only live because there are Ivy League graduates like me and Kylie making enough to pay for the burden you place on the system. I managed to salvage my relationship with Kylie somehow, but I'm completely through with you. I don't want you to ever come around me or Kylie ever again. You know what? I think I'll
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm just fine with never speaking to you again. I will never forget the way Kylie changed her attitude about me just because she found out I was a high school dropout. I would never want to associate with such a lying, backstabbing, two-faced elitist like her anyway. And the same goes for you.
I think I'll go ahead and give our parents a report about you. I'll need their help to make sure you don't try and mess with Kylie. You low IQ types are more prone to violence, so I might just have to get a restraining order against you. And don't you dare tell anyone else we're related or I'll sue you for slander.
Hey there, Kylie. I tried to message Carl about this first, but he never returned any of my calls or texts. I know we both agreed not to contact each other anymore, but I decided this was an emergency, so I have no choice. I'm standing in the family section of the wedding chapel right now, and there isn't a seat here for me. I'm guessing that was probably a mistake by the venue's staff. Could you contact them for me? Oh, that's no mistake. I told them not to put out a seat for you. You're not welcome at our wedding. Now get out of here. What? I don't understand. You had my seat removed on purpose? I was debating on what to do about you for a while, but in the end, I decided that I just didn't want any high school dropouts at my wedding. This is an elite wedding, Jessica. We're both Ivy League graduates. We're part of the overclass that runs the world. So we can't have a low-class dreg like you hanging around and ruining the atmosphere. I don't believe this. You actually went out of your way to have my seat removed? This is our wedding, Jessica, and what we say goes. And we say, you go. Now, do get out of here as soon as possible. You're blocking the view of the other guests by standing there. You're a real piece of work, Kylie. I know people are free to like who they like and dislike who they dislike, but this is far beyond a matter of likes and dislikes. This is you infringing on my basic human dignity. Is that what all of you so-called elite Ivy League graduates are like? Shut up, cretin. We are not so-called elite. We are bona fide elites. Look, this is for your own good anyway. You're just plain out of place here. Most of the people coming today are our college classmates. They're all Ivy League graduates, too. Plus, a lot of the higher-ups at our companies are coming, too. A pathetic little peasant like yourself would be just sad looking around at all the intelligent people with interesting and demanding jobs. You should be thanking me for kicking you out before you go and make a fool of yourself. This is unbelievable. What's unbelievable is the fact that you're still here when I've already told you to leave multiple times. This wedding is for elites only. There are no seats for low IQ, underclass peasantry like you. I see. Goodbye then. Good riddance. And for real this time, never ever come anywhere near us ever again. Gotcha. Have it your way. Once I go and tell your boss that I'm declining his request, I'll be on my way. Huh? He came up and talked to me a little while ago in the lobby. Looks like he's heard about me. He asked me to take on a certain job for him, but if I do, that means I'll have to go to your office pretty often. And since you're telling me you don't want me anywhere near you, then I won't be able to do it. Your boss is going to be absolutely heartbroken when I break the news to him. He was really excited about having the opportunity to work with me. I feel really bad things turned out this way, but what can you do? Hold on. What are you talking about, Jessica? Why would my boss know who you are? You don't even live in the same universe as us, and what job could he possibly want a miserable little high school dropout like you to do? Does he want you to clean the office toilets or something? He can find someone who actually graduated high school to do that. Sorry, but I'm not in the toilet cleaning business. I am, however, in the graphic design business, and your boss asked me to design the logo for your company's new product. I guess your company's putting a lot into this new product, and your boss is the lead of the product planning division. I guess he thought having the #1 logo designer in the country make the logo for him would create some buzz around the product. You're a graphic designer? You know, now that you mention it, I don't believe we've ever talked much about what I do for a living. I'm a freelance graphic designer. I was working in a design firm up until a few years ago, but I went independent. My reputation followed me, though, and I've built quite the client list up for myself. That's impossible. How can you go into business for yourself if you couldn't even graduate from high school? I don't think those two skill sets are related at all, honestly. In the real world, all that matters is results, and my results are world class. Results? What results? You didn't even stick around in school to get the results from your SATs. I've taken on logo design products for about a third of the companies on the Fortune 500 list. It's to the point where I have multiple billion-dollar enterprises bidding each other up to buy my time. I'm fully booked for the next 6 months at least, and I'm in talks with another company to pick up a new project right after that. That's actually kind of impressive. I'm surprised you didn't know about my work. Your boss seems to be quite familiar with me. He said he's been meaning to have his people contact my people about the logo design sometime soon. What a crazy coincidence, huh? He just about did a backflip when I told him I could get the logo design finished within the year. He did? I was kind of looking forward to it myself. I haven't done much work in your company's industry before. Seems like an interesting opportunity for me to expand my reach. It's gonna suck having to tell him I can't do it after all. Considering the circumstances, he's probably gonna ask me about why I'm doing such a rapid turnaround. So I'll just tell him the truth. I can't work for your company because you don't want me to come anywhere near you ever again. I'm sure he'll understand. Wait, don't do that! Why would you bring that up with my boss? It has nothing to do with him. Sure it does. That's the only reason I have to turn down the job he offered me. And it's the truth anyway. There's nothing wrong with telling the truth. Look, just give me a second, okay? Jeez, I had no idea that you were doing that kind of work. How about we put our little feud on hold for a few minutes? Just enough for you to finish the logo. No thanks. I want to get the two of you out of my life as soon as possible. Oh no. I hope you enjoy your wedding, Jessica. Don't worry, I'll leave like you wanted me to just as soon as I get done talking to your boss.
Jessica, we need to talk. Is it true that you make more than me?
Ugh, just when I thought I could finally kick back and relax.
Mom and Dad just told me that. When they heard that we kicked you out of the wedding, they got super mad at us. I managed to get them to calm down until after the wedding, but right after all the guests left, they started absolutely tearing into me. They were all like, "How dare you treat your sister like that when she's far more elite than you'll ever be?" Then they started talking about what your job was and told me you make twice as much as me.
One minor point of contention, it's not a job because I'm the boss of my own company. But yeah, being my own boss means I'm free to make as much or as little as I want. And last year was a really good year for me. I think after taxes, I'll end up taking home about $200,000. You'll have to ask Mom and Dad for the specific number, though. They're the ones who I hired to do all my accounting.
This is insane! How could someone like you make that much? Especially someone working freelance! How do you make $200,000 working for yourself?
I told you before, Carl, in my industry, the only thing that matters is results, not educational attainment. Still, though, there are some midwits like yourself out there who think that having a degree from a prestigious university means everything. But all that meant to me was that I'd have to work even harder to prove myself, and I did.
Even still, there's no way you should be making $200,000. You can't make more than me.
I know it must be hard on you, being out-earned by your high school dropout sister. Seriously, what gives me the right to prove myself in the world without relying on empty credentialism? Don't worry, though, I won't be around to humiliate you much longer. I'm never going to contact you again, just like you wanted.
Me? No, you don't need to do that. Actually, I've been thinking that I want to try and rebuild our sibling relationship.
Huh?
Since our wedding is finished and we're married now, the next thing me and Kylie need to think about is having kids. Both of us are high-powered elites with superior DNA, so all our kids are bound to be super intelligent. That's where you come in. If you taught your graphic design skills to our superhuman children, they'd be the best graphic designers in history.
Huh?
If an imbecile like you can pull $200,000 as a graphic designer, think about what my kids are going to be able to do. They'll be making $1 million a year before they're out of elementary school.
First of all, $1 million a year is for all intents and purposes impossible in this industry for an individual. Second of all, no. Literally no, I refuse. I've already decided that I never want to speak to you or Kylie ever again.
But why?
Isn't it obvious? You were the ones who started telling me to stay out of your lives in the first place, remember? Oh, and by the way, I have a message to you guys from our parents. They wanted me to tell you that they're writing you out of their will and that you're never allowed to come to their house again.
What? They can't do that to us. I'm their son. I'm an elite Ivy League graduate working for a powerful company, and my wife is just as elite as me. How could they even consider cutting off such an elite power couple?
Oh, they gave me an answer for that, too. They said that all the degrees and credentials in the world don't make up for an awful personality. Okay, well, my job is done here. Don't ever contact me or our parents again. Jessica, I'm begging you. Please do the logo design my boss wanted you to do. If you don't, then my career is practically dead in the water. Is that so? I can't believe you actually turned down the job my boss offered you. I thought you were just trying to scare me. You really did tell him about everything I said to you. He got super mad at me for all of that. He told me I was a disgrace to the Ivy League. I've never had anyone get that mad at me before. Now that you mention it, you did say something about your company treating you like royalty. Wow, you must have really messed up if he got that mad at you. About that, I guess my company didn't value me quite as much as I thought they did. What do you mean? Well, while my boss was reaming me out the other day, he said that he was finally going to give me the lecture he's been holding back on for all this time. I guess the reason that they had put me on so many different projects was damage control. They figured if I was spread super thin between a bunch of projects, I wouldn't be able to do that much damage to any single one. Yikes. He said he would rather have a high school dropout on his team than an Ivy League graduate like me. Now I'm in charge of finding a new designer, and if the new product fails, they're gonna fire me. Well, you're in quite the pickle, aren't you? And then there's my colleagues. They all saw how mad my boss was at me, but no one will help me at all. They're all afraid if they're seen working with me, they might get some blame for my mistakes. And this one guy said to me, "You're always bragging about your elite education, Miss Ivy League. Figure it out for yourself." My, oh my, Kylie. Looks like you've been hard at work earning the ire of your coworkers. Let me guess, you've been using your Ivy League credentials as an excuse to be a jerk to people who went to ordinary universities, right? Well, yeah, but what's wrong with that? I went to an elite university. I am obviously more elite than someone who went to some average public university. There is a lot I'd like to say to you, but I don't think it'll do any good. Please, Jessica, will you please do the logo design for us? If you agree to take the job, my boss will forgive me for sure. I'll get my career back on track, and you'll get a high-paying job from a major company. I'll pass. It's like I told Carl, I'm done with you two. You told me you don't want to speak to me anymore, so I'll oblige you. I told you, we can put that silly little feud on hold for a few months. I'll stop bashing you for being a high school dropout. Maybe I'll even let you tell people you're my sister-in-law. So please, you've got to help me out. Nah, I don't feel like it. Please! You're finally getting a taste of your just desserts. Jessica, I am begging you. And with that, I am very busy, so I'm gonna get back to work. I'm sure you can solve any of your problems all by yourself, Kylie. After all, you're an elite Ivy League graduate. Kylie was never able to find another designer to take the job. Her boss had finally had enough of her failures, so he had her transferred to a smaller branch on the outskirts of town. In what can only be described as cosmic irony, her new manager is a high school dropout and 5 years younger than her. He's an incredibly talented businessman, but he's rather strict with his subordinates. I guess within a week of her getting transferred, he told her, "I would rather have a middle school dropout on my team than you." So she's having a pretty hard time of things right now. As for my brother, he was really hit hard by my parents cutting off contact with him. It was so hard on him that he actually wasn't able to get out of bed for about 10 days straight. He used up all his paid time off, and his company told him that if he didn't come back to work immediately, they were going to replace him. I have an old colleague who works at the same company, and I talked to her about how things were going with Carl the other day. Apparently, they're already interviewing some people for his position. And the top candidate is, drumroll please, a high school dropout. Holly, are you okay? I just heard that you got hit by a car. Did you get taken to the hospital, or are you going to be all right? Hey there, Rachel. Thanks for your concern, and sorry to make you worry about me. But it's okay, I'm gonna be just fine. I did have a pretty nasty break in my right leg, so looks like I'm probably gonna be laid up in the hospital for a while. Oh no, you broke your leg? That's terrible. It must have been so scary for you. Well, actually, I didn't have much time to be afraid at all. Everything happened so suddenly. I was just walking through the crosswalk when this car came along and blew through the stoplight. I got hit so hard that it sent me flying through the air for a couple of yards. The doctor who saw me in the ER said that it's a miracle that the only thing I broke was my leg. So, all things considered, I guess I'm not in too bad a shape. Wow, you actually got thrown that far? Good grief, that's terrifying to hear. And you're going to be in the hospital for a while? Oh, that's too bad. Have they told you about how long you're going to be there? A pretty long time from the sound of things. The doctor came into my room a little while ago to check up on me and said that I'll be looking at least a month at this point. Depending on how my leg heals, it might even be longer than that, though. A whole month? That's insane! I can't believe you're going to have to be out of the house for that long. All right, well, then could you wire us some money? The sooner the better. We've got a lot of things to take care of. Money? For what? Well, if you're not around, who's going to do all the cooking? We're going to end up having to eat out most of the time. We'll need to have enough money to pay for going to restaurants and buying pre-made meals from the supermarket. Oh, and we'll also need to hire a maid to come in and do the chores for us, so can you send us enough to cover those expenses too? Let's see, if you're going to be in there for a whole month, for the time being, you can send me $1,500. I'll let you know if that runs out and I need more. Whoa, hold on there. Why do you need money to pay for all that stuff? It's only going to be a month. Can't you guys just take care of the cooking and cleaning by yourselves? Are you kidding? No way. You know your mom has bad knees. She can't stand up for long enough to cook a whole meal. It'll be way too painful for her. And Joey has to go to work every day, so he won't have time either. Well, yeah, I'm aware of my mom's and brother's situations, but what about you, Rachel? You should have more than enough time to take care of everything. You quit your job when you got married so you could become a housewife. The only reason I've been doing most of the work up until now is simply because I've lived in my family's house longer than you have. I know where all the supplies are and how everything's organized. I suppose this is as good a time as any for you to start taking on your share of the housework too. Get real. I don't want to do any of that boring stuff. I hate doing chores. Cooking and cleaning, it's so lame. I'd rather look at my Instagram feed. Like, why do you think we moved into your family's house with you and your mom? It was so I wouldn't have to do anything I didn't want to do. No way. That's really the reason why you guys moved in with us? Yeah, I had no other choice. I've always wanted to be a housewife ever since I was a little girl. You know, like the girls on Instagram who are always showing off how neat and clean their houses are and showing off their adorable dresses. That's what I want to do. But I don't want to have to actually clean or anything, so I need to get someone else to do it for me. That's when I heard from Joey that you were still single and living at home. I knew it would make your mom super happy to have her son and daughter-in-law living with her, and if I moved in, I wouldn't ever have to do any chores. Everybody wins. How am I winning exactly? How can you be thinking about yourself at a time like this? We're going to have so much trouble with you in the hospital for a month. Since you're not going to be doing your job, then you're going to have to pay to get someone else to do it all. Cleaning, cooking, everything. You're paying for all of it. Is this all some kind of crazy dream? Maybe the docs gave me a little too much morphine. Hey, wait a second. You said you were going to be in the hospital for at least a month, but maybe longer. Well, yeah, it all depends on how well my leg heals up. But that means you might not be able to make it to our wedding. It's exactly 1 month from today. Oh, wow, you're right. Man, time really flies, huh? Feels like just yesterday you guys said you had eloped and were moving in with us. I'm really sorry, Rachel, but yeah, there's a pretty decent chance that I won't be able to make it to your guys' wedding. Even if I manage to get rescued from the hospital sooner, I'll still be in a wheelchair with a giant cast on my leg. I can't believe it. If you're not going to make it to our wedding, that means you're not going to be able to give us a wedding gift. Oh my God, just when I thought this day couldn't get any worse. What? I was banking on you giving us a ton of money for a wedding present. I mean, you're single and basically live for your work, right? I figured you must have a ton of money in savings that you're never going to use. And obviously, if it's for the wedding of your only brother, you'd be willing to shell out at least a few G's. So I had the wedding planner give us the premium wedding package. But if you're not going to be there to actually hand over the money, this is really bad. Rachel, are you being for real right now? You were planning to use me to finance an extravagant wedding for yourself? Let me think. What are we going to do? You're going to have to speed your recovery along, Holly. You need to have that leg healed up within a week, 2 weeks tops. This is not negotiable, Holly. You have a responsibility to come to our wedding. And when I open the envelope you hand over to reception, there had better be enough money in there to pay for the premium package.
Hey there, Holly. I heard about your accident. How are you doing? Do the doctors think you're going to be back to normal soon? Go ahead and shoot me a message with updates whenever you can. Oh, and don't worry about taking care of things around the house. We'll figure something out. You just focus on getting better, okay? I know Rachel probably said some stuff to you, but you can go ahead and ignore her.
I don't know, Joey. The stuff she said to me is going to be pretty hard to ignore. I know this is the woman that you chose, Joey, but are you sure you want to marry her? I mean, did she tell you that she planned a wedding outside of your budget because she was planning on me funding the whole thing?
That was news to me, but I am aware of that now, yeah. Let me deal with Rachel. I'm going to take care of her. Man, don't tell anyone I told you this, but back when we were planning it, I had said that we should keep our wedding on the simple side so we could save money for our future. But Rachel was super insistent on having some elaborate show of a wedding. You know, we're only gonna have one wedding and all that.
I totally understand why she would feel that way, but it's incredibly presumptuous to plan an entire wedding on getting an outsized gift from me. What were you gonna do if I didn't give you as much as she'd hoped? Do you guys have enough savings to cover it?
Oh yeah, don't worry about that. I have plenty of savings. Rachel, on the other hand, has absolutely nothing.
Nothing? Like, nothing?
I mean $0 and 0 cents. I guess she's under the impression that a husband should be the one to cover all the expenses after getting married. So she spent every last cent that she had saved up before we got married on herself right before we eloped. She bought shoes, clothes, purses. I checked her bank account statement, and sure enough, the balance is a big fat 0.
That's crazy. I've never met anyone like that before. Living on one income is one thing, but intentionally depleting your own savings? Yikes.
Plus, we went ring shopping together, and the one Rachel picked out was pretty big. So I had plenty of savings going into this marriage, but things can't go on like this forever, to say the least. Which again is why I told her I thought it would be best to have a simple wedding. But no matter what I said to her, nothing got through. She just shut me out completely.
It sounds like she's one of those women who have a very particular idea in their heads of their perfect wedding. And if the real thing deviates even a smidgen from the ideal, then all hell breaks loose.
Completely. Honestly, her attitude really started changing once she found out where you work. Every time I would comment on something being too expensive, she'd just brush me off like, "What are you so concerned about? Your sister's rich." She thought she could just put on a cute face and get you to fork out as much money as she wanted.
Wow, so you're telling me it's not just the wedding? She's been planning on using me as some kind of free ATM machine since the very beginning?
Again, Rachel, you don't need to worry about that. I won't let her take advantage of you. It's just that she won't listen to a word I say. It all goes in one ear and out the other. But yeah, I have more than enough money to cover the cost of the wedding, so you don't need to feel any compulsion to give us a large gift, okay?
Since when did you become such a responsible, upstanding man, Joey?
What can I say? I had a good role model in my big sister. About the wedding, I think it would be best if you didn't come. I don't want you rushing your recovery for our sake. Also, I don't want you to get involved in any kind of trouble with Rachel during the ceremony.
Yeah, good point. Okay then, I guess you can go ahead and mark me down as not attending. Sorry, Joey.
Don't be sorry about anything. Oh, and by the way, a girl from your office came by with a nice fruit basket and a card for you. I'll bring it over to your hospital room later on today. I'll talk to you later, Holly.
Thanks, Joey. Talk to you later. dare you, Holly? You really are a jerk, you know that? Why aren't you coming to our wedding? I just looked over at the family section and saw your mom, your aunts, and uncles, but I don't see you anywhere. Where are you? Are you gonna flake out on us at the last minute? No, I told Joey a month ago that I wasn't going to make it. My leg hasn't healed yet, and the doctors want me to stay a bit longer. Did you really expect me to wheel myself into your wedding in my hospital gown? You could have changed clothes, get a nurse to help you or something. And this facility is 100% handicap accessible, so you have no excuse not to be here. You need to get over here now and give us our wedding gift. Yeah, that's all you're concerned about, isn't it? The only reason you want me there is for my money. You don't care one bit about my leg. You never even came to visit me in the hospital. Shut up, would you? You're the one who's in the wrong here. You're skipping your own brother's wedding. What is wrong with you? Think of what people are going to say about us. Huh? What if people start spreading rumors about how you and I aren't getting along? Is that what you want? To humiliate me in front of all my friends and family? I don't know what you're worried about. No one in my family spreads nasty rumors like that. You don't know that for sure. Well, to be fair, it's not like we're on the best of terms. You've never done any of the housework for us as long as you've been living with us. Oh, so that's it. You hate me, don't you? That explains everything. You're not coming to the wedding, not giving us any money, making me do the housework. It's all because you just hate me. I'll bet you think I must be the absolute worst woman in the world, don't you? You probably wish your brother and I never got married. I never said any of that. I'll bet. Oh, don't tell me. You faked your car accident to get out of coming. That's it, isn't it? You've been pretending to be hurt this whole time. I can't believe you. Oh, come on. You have got to be kidding me. It's all very clear to me now, Holly. Ever since we moved in with you, I saw the way you would glare at me when you thought I wasn't paying attention. You hated me because I wouldn't do any of your chores for you. So you planned this elaborate stunt to fake an injury and get out of coming to our wedding. I never glared at you. You're just making that all up. Think about it. Would I really go to all the trouble of faking an accident to get out of going to a wedding? I could have just pretended to be sick the day of the ceremony or something. I have had all I can take of your lies, Holly. You can admit it. You hate me. Go ahead, say it. Even if you don't say it, I still know it's true. Well, guess what? If you really hate me that much, then you can get out of my house. What? I don't want any fake family living with me who secretly hates my guts. Take that fake cast off your leg, come back to the house, pack up your things, and get out now.
She's not leaving, Rachel. We are.
Huh?
You just accused my sister of faking her own car accident. This whole conversation, you've been spiraling downward into practical conspiracy theory territory.
Wait a second. My sister? Oh no. Joey, is that you? What are you doing with Holly? Our wedding is starting soon.
Did you forget that we had the start time delayed by an hour? I wanted Holly to see me in my tuxedo.
Oh yeah, I guess I did say that.
Holly got a text from you while I was visiting, and I took the liberty of reading your conversation. You just tried to kick my sister out of our family's house. Mind explaining that to me?
But I trusted her. Even though she hated me, I still trusted that she would have the decency to come to our wedding, and she betrayed that trust.
Oh, so now you think betraying someone's trust is a bad thing? That didn't stop you from betraying my trust, now did it, Rachel? At this point, I don't see any reason to go through with this wedding anymore.
What are you saying, Joey? Are you saying you're going to call off our wedding? But it's starting in just a few hours.
And now that I see you for what you really are, I wouldn't even have any problems walking out on you mid-service.
Joey, why are you doing this to me?
I told you, Rachel. I told you time after time after time, do not rely on my sister's money to pay for our wedding. But now I see that you completely ignored my very clear warnings. Not only that, when she refused to play along with your silly little games, you tried to kick her out of the house?
But I...
Oh, and another thing, you stole the gifts Holly got from her company. I am incredibly disappointed in you.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't...
Don't play dumb with me. You stole the money that was in the card she got. You even ate the fruit from the fruit basket.
I didn't do that. You're making it all up. How do you know her company sent her any money anyway? Did you open the card?
Her office called me the other day and asked me if Holly got the card yet. They told me they sent a basket around the office and everyone put some money inside to send to her. The total should have been over $2,000. What happened to that money?
What? $2,000? There was only like $500 in there.
Oh, that's interesting. How would you know how much money there was in that envelope unless you opened it? Now that we've established that you opened it, what happened to the money? I asked my mom, and she said you offered to deliver it to Holly for me, but when I asked Holly about it just now, she said she never got the money or the fruit, and she never saw you at all. So that leaves us with quite the mystery. Both the fruit and the money are nowhere to be found.
About that?
Come to think of it, you bought yourself a new necklace the other day, didn't you? It was a pretty nice one, Rachel. If I had to make a guess, I'd say it was worth somewhere around $500. Where'd you get the money for that necklace?
I can explain.
You don't have a job and you don't have any savings. Where'd the money come from?
I sold some stuff online.
Oh, what website did you use to sell them? I'd like to see some records of that, if you have any. And let me be clear. If I find out that you stole the money that was supposed to go to Holly, I'll divorce you right then and there.
Divorce?
You got that right. I'm gonna head over to the chapel now. Before I get there and before the guests start to arrive, you need to tell the planner that the wedding is off.
No, I can't do that. I won't. All of my friends are coming today. I can't cancel it. What am I going to tell them?
If you'd like, I can tell them for you myself. You're not going to change my mind on this. The wedding is off. Don't like it? Then you should have thought twice about trying to mooch off of my sister.
This is terrible. What am I going to do, Holly? I thought Joey was bluffing when he said we were going to get divorced, but he meant it. He just handed me a massive pack of papers to sign and everything. So you did steal my money then. And you ate my fruit, too. Seriously? You couldn't even let me have the frickin' fruit? It's not like I meant to. It just kind of happened. Joey's been so firm on not spending any more money on our wedding. Not just that, he said we'd need to cut back on spending for a while to pay it off. So I couldn't get any extra spending money from him, and you were being stingy about the wedding gift, so I saw the money in the envelope, and you know. You could have bought that necklace in about a month if you just got a part-time job. You had no excuse to steal that money. Give me a break. I'm apologizing, aren't I? That means you have to forgive me. I must have missed the text where you actually said the words, "I'm sorry." What do you want from me? I mean, when you really think about it, I didn't do anything wrong at all. Stealing isn't wrong. I wasn't stealing. Sure, you might be in the hospital now, but you're gonna get out eventually. When you do, you were planning on giving us a belated wedding gift, right? Plus, since you flaked out on our wedding, you were going to give us an even bigger gift to say sorry. Excuse me? So what's wrong with me taking a measly $500? You were going to give it to us eventually anyway. So no, I didn't do anything wrong. At the very least, I didn't do anything to deserve Joey getting so mad at me. That is an absolutely insane justification of petty theft. It doesn't matter why you took it. I could still easily have you charged with a crime if I wanted to. They'd laugh you out of the courtroom. The judge would be like, "You're charging your sister-in-law with a crime over $500? Case dismissed." Maybe he'll throw you in jail for wasting his time. That's not how pressing charges works, Rachel. In any case, you did something incredibly underhanded and dirty. You stole the gifts that my friends and coworkers put together for me to show their concern for me. I'm not going to forgive you for that. Come on, I apologized to you for that already. No, you didn't. By the way, I heard you guys are moving out of the house for a while. So you guys are going to stay with your folks while you finalize the details of the divorce? Yeah, I told him I didn't want to talk about divorce in front of my parents, but Joey just wouldn't listen to me. He said he wanted to have a disinterested third party with us while we were talking. That's my Joey. He knows how to look after his own interests. Well, good luck in the divorce proceedings. I hope you don't wind up too deep in debt. I have terrible luck, though, and I don't understand any of this legal stuff, so I need you to do a really big favor for me. Talk to Joey and convince him to take me back. Huh? You're the only person I can count on, Holly. I'll start doing housework, I promise. Even after you get out of the hospital, I'll help out whenever I can. I want to be a good housewife for Joey. I wish you would have had that attitude from the very beginning. You're way too late to have a change of heart now. Please. Honestly, I wish I would have told him to divorce you a long, long time ago. Goodbye, Rachel. I wish you the best of luck. I hope eating all that fruit was worth it. After that, I launched a formal criminal complaint against Rachel. As soon as the police got involved, she became much more willing to pay me back the full amount of what she took from me, so I agreed to drop the charges. However, Rachel seemed to be under the impression that if she paid me all the money back, then Joey wouldn't divorce her anymore. She was sadly mistaken. She threw an absolute hissy fit, and on the day they were scheduled to move out, she just bolted straight out the front door. I had no idea where she thought she was running to, but boy, was she running. She ran straight out into the road in front of our house and got hit by an oncoming car. In a funny coincidence, I saw her being wheeled into my hospital room as they were wheeling me out. Her parents never even came to see her, until the day they had decided to discuss the divorce right there in her hospital room. They walked right into the room with Joey and his lawyer, looked her straight in the eyes, and said, "This time, you're not going to run away from us." They got all the details of the divorce finalized that very day.